Hi, I'm Neil Navarra. I've been DJing for over 20 years now. Professionally for about 15. I went professional in around about 2002, I think it was, when I travelled abroad to Napa, of all places. And started for a brand called Miss Moneypennies, who are a really big, funky house brand from Birmingham. So I played for those guys for 4 years. And then I moved on to God's Kitchen after 2006, when I was resident for those for about 6 years, 8 years. Played all over the world for Moneypennies and God's Kitchen as World Tour residents, from New York, LA, Dubai, Ibiza, Russia, Colombia, pretty much a lot of the Western world, all across Europe. I've been lucky enough to play some really big festivals as well, like Global Gathering, the Love Parade in Germany. I played that twice. It was like 1.6 million people. Played the Street Parade in Zurich, which is 1.2 million people. I've been really blessed and really lucky with the events and the gigs that I've played over the years. Ibiza has been obviously a huge part of my life for the last 20 years as well, travelling back and forth there yearly, apart from last year, which is the first year I haven't been due to all this naughtiness going on. First club I played in Ibiza was El Divino, which is now Leo, which was an incredible venue. Loved that place, played there for Moneypennies for a few years, and then played for Embedded Space at Space for a couple of years. That was kind of the first time that I really was nervous at a club. Walking out onto the terrace at Space and playing after John Ulysses. Big boots to fill, but yeah, it was great. Did that a few times. We had lots and lots of fun. Met some great people along the years and played some great parties, great festivals, and some very strange and weird and wonderful places. It's been great. Now I'm back in Swansea, growing up a little bit. Maybe not. What do I like about Swansea's music scene? What do I think of it now? I mean, dance music is cyclical. I mean, it's always moved in circles where it's hovered underground, then it's become mainstream and gone by. I think it's in a bit of a transitional stage at the moment. Obviously, with what's happened in the last year, things are a little bit different in Swansea as they are the rest of the world. But years ago, you had iconic clubs like Escape and Martha's, and it was incredible then. But obviously, things now, as I've mentioned, with the restrictions, are a little bit different, and with bar culture overtaking club culture, it is in a transitional stage. But I have no doubt that because Swansea's always been, the crowds here have always been fantastic. When I used to do Escape into the Park Festival, I'm sure it'll have its rebirth, especially now when restrictions are lifted, because people's appetite for such things, and we kind of miss things when they're gone more than you would when they're there. So I think it'll really pick itself back up in the next few years. How do I feel about the DJ set? I was really excited by it, to be honest. I mean, Gower in South Wales and Swansea in particular are very close to my heart, and I always kind of sell the Gower as the first ever area of outstanding natural beauty, and it's incredible. And Three Cliffs is probably one of my favourite beaches to go for walks, etc. And so when I was asked to do it, I was like, wow, this is pretty exciting, and pretty keen to see how it would turn out as well. And the reaction online from the teaser has been incredible. And people coming in to speak to me in the shop and like, oh, I can't wait for it to drop, and I can't wait for it. And so I'm really excited to see the full final edit, and also the music I got to play while doing it as well. It was there's a few tracks there, some of them like 10, 12 years old, that I've had in a kind of folder that I've always wanted to play a sunset set with, and then I've pulled a few of those out of the bag for this set. And so it was like, it's quite fun picking the tracks for that, because you haven't got a dance floor to get moving, so you can be a little bit self-indulgent, which I was. So I hope you like it though. But there you go. My favourite performance in my career. Well, I think just as I touched on earlier, the first time I ever played at Space on the terrace there, that was kind of like, as a house music DJ, that's your mecca. It's like the coolest place on the planet, and been there before and I'd watched DJs perform, and I was like, I've always wanted to play here. When I finally got booked, and to walk into the car park at Space and see my name on a billboard outside, and I was like, wow, this is pretty cool. And I got a little bit nervous and drank a little bit of booze, and then everything was a little bit okay. And then, I remember John Ulysses, he was I played after him, and I think I was supposed to play like an hour and a half, and he was just like, you go, and I ended up playing for about 3 hours, and we got a little bit drunk. But yeah, it was super fun. But that's probably one of my favourite gigs of all time. I think probably the funniest experience during a set was in Tenerife. And it was back in the vinyl days then. And I was a little bit, how should we say, drunk. And I was underneath picking my records out, and I was a little bit wobbly and a little bit wavy, and I fell over. And I fell on the floor, and I was like, oh, and I was literally laying on the floor, and the decks were kind of raised up with, you could see underneath, and I was like, oh, am I going to stay on this out? So I jumped up. I love to say it was like, as if to kind of like, say I meant to do it. I meant to just hide and jump, and nobody even fucking noticed. So I was like, oh, a little bit embarrassing, a little bit funny. Promoter was looking at me, what are you doing? Yeah, and it was all a bit weird, but it was quite funny at the time. But I thought it was funny anyway. Obviously had to be there. What is the most useless talent that I have? Let me think. It's probably remembering numbers. I think, I have a kind of ability to remember numbers, which is just really, I don't know, well, it does come in handy. But I remember like my first ever mobile phone number, which was a long time ago. Yeah, which is like a long time ago. And it was really big as well. And really hot. Really hot. 10-minute phone calls, not a thing. Too hot. Yeah, if you know, you know. But yeah, that's probably my most, I wouldn't say it's useless. It comes in handy sometimes, but yeah, I remember numbers. Do I sing in the shower? Yes. I sing in the shower, I sing in the car. I think a lot of times you get asked in press, what would you be if you were in a DJ, apart from a virgin? I would probably be, I would have liked to have been a rock star. So yeah, that probably, but I know, that's me in my head. Not that I would have achieved that by any stretch of the imagination, but I like singing. Yeah, I like singing in the shower, I like singing in the car. Not saying I'm good at it, but I like it, I enjoy it. And what do I sing though? Anything comes into my head really. I have a really, really diverse music catalogue. I mean, I probably think I listen to the least is the music I play. I listen to all kinds of genres from, down tempo right up to really hard drum bass stuff, and all stops in between, whatever I'm feeling. So yeah, I do. I'm not very good at it, but I do. I'm sorry if you've heard it. The most trouble I've ever gotten into, probably couldn't tell you that on camera. But I'll probably write a book one day. I'm not sure anybody read it, but I'll have to wait for my parents to probably not be alive when it happens, because I think it would probably send them a little bit south if they found out the full extent of the debauchery in my life. So if you're watching, Mum and Dad, sorry, but not sorry. What does active mean to me? Well, from what I picked up from the guys and from filming the live stream, it was it was so well handled. The setup was good, and from the teaser and what little bits I've seen of the actual recording itself, it looks really good. So the guys, obviously very, very passionate about what they do, and very keen to develop and move on in the house music and dance music scene, which is always good. I'm like, I've worked with some of the biggest dance music brands in the world, in God's Kitchen, Money Pennies, played in Ministry of Sound, and I've worked with a lot of the big players. And it's great to see new brands coming through, and people are trying to develop new brands and using innovative ways in which to do so. So yeah, for me, it's a really cool thing. Describe active in 3 words. Feel good music. Saturday night, April 3rd, 8 p.m. Tune in, check it out.